Thoughts of a Past Life Warrior. Today, I'll be touching a little on devotion, more specifically, your purpose, your reason. But moreover, I'll be talking mainly about your role and where you fit in your environment, in your universe. Because that is a key factor that you must understand when you utilize your inner warrior spirit. Your purpose, that's extremely important, because why else would you want to be strong? Why? Why are you being strong? Why are you taking this fight? If you're smart, you'll choose your battles, and you'll choose your battles wisely. And when you choose such a battle, you got to be strong, and you got to be ready. And if not ready, at least prepared some way, physically, mentally, spiritually. You've got to be mighty. But to be mighty, why? To be mighty is exhausting. Of course, when you reach that level of brilliance and mastery, things get less exhausting. But just to engage in something where you must use your might, that is usually beyond the average normal state. That is usually beyond the resting state, homeostasis. One can live a hard life most of their days, but even so, when they push and when they shove and they strive through, or hopefully get to that point of thriving through, they are bringing a level of inner acceleration, that warrior spirit. They are bringing that forth, because they're not holding that might all day, not every second of the day. Eventually they'll come back to a calmer state, a resting state, to recharge, to recover. Because as I spoke last time, recovery is vital, and a true warrior respects recovery. But of course, we warriors, there are too many times where we must be mighty. But why? Why is it that you wish to be mighty? A warrior knows. That's where his sense of devotion will explain everything. A warrior knows why he is fighting. A warrior knows why he must stay strong. A warrior knows why he must survive. Why must you survive? Why must you be mighty? What's the purpose? That's something that I think everyone, even those who aren't warriors, even the civilians, they should consider that too. Because if they don't, they'll just go back to default, back to the primal ways of less thought, of less innovation, less cunning. Just act on natural, simple instincts. I'm hungry, I need food. Do we have food? Okay, I'll get food. I'm cold, I'll look for shelter. I cannot see, I need light. But a warrior, as I said last time, prepares and is prepared for any situation. So we need to think, what is this purpose when we want to be prepared, when we want to be mighty, when we want to engage in this road to strength, in this road to willpower? Why do we want to become stronger? What is the purpose? That is, of course, where the devotion comes in. And yeah, devotion does synchronize with your purpose. But the devotion is the ultimate level. We'll talk about purpose first. Usually when a warrior wants to be stronger, that desire to be stronger and to survive is a responsibility. It is a responsibility so that you can fulfill your duty as a warrior. And that warrior knows that they are to stand for whatever stance or cause they've chosen to stand for. How can they stand if they're not there? If they haven't survived the little obstacles along the way? What about the main obstacle? The main fight? That is usually where we can find our purpose. What is it that we are choosing to stand strong for? Some people's purpose is themselves, which is always a start for everyone, which is what everyone should start with. Because yourself then can be offered. Once you maximize yourself, then you are useful to others. Then you succeed at the ultimate gift that the human race has. Socializing and connection. I know there's a better word for that, but I can't think of it right now. Unity? Yeah, let's just use that word. Unity. You become valuable in the idea and construct of unity once you are mighty, and once you are mighty for that purpose. So, a good place to start is for yourself so that you can be valuable. But to be a warrior, you need to be more than just generally valuable. A warrior is valuable for a cause, for a specific cause. That is where the devotion comes in, the why. That is what makes a warrior. When they know what their cause is that they need to stand for, and they choose to be the best, the most valuable that they can be for that cause. They want to be useful for that cause. Until then, they're walking in the dark. I know some that are extremely mighty, extremely powerful, extremely skilled. Their prowess on the battlefield, wonderful. But some of them, they know it. They don't have their purpose. Their only purpose is themselves, which is good, which is satisfying. But there is a higher level. There is a much higher level that one can achieve. There is a higher, fulfilling purpose that one can accept. And that is when you have devoted yourself to something. Then all your power and might has a true avenue to excel and accomplish whatever feats need to be accomplished. Some of these lost souls of mine, They know how incredible they are, and they cannot wait to engage in whatever it is that I need them for. But until I give them what it is they wish to devote themselves to, they know that the end of the road doesn't seem like a clear path. They know that they're not walking towards a specific light. They get scared when they look ahead and they see the many lights ahead. They wonder, does my path end there? Or further down there? Or what about far beyond that mountain? And the mere thought and confusion can be discouraging. A purpose makes a huge difference in how far a man can excel, in how far a warrior can triumph. The greater the war that is expected of a warrior, the greater the warrior will become. If a man knows that all he needs to do is wake up in the morning and chop down one tree every day, then he can live happy. All he will have to do is chop down that one tree. But that accomplishment will be the limit of him. Because when the time comes, when his nation needs men that can chop 3 trees, things will get harder for him. Things will be harder for him. He hasn't built that strength yet, that endurance, that skill to manage that much lumber. In time, he will adapt. But what if they needed him to chop those 3 trees that day? Would he be the one responsible for his nation's loss? Not entirely. It wasn't his responsibility before. How could we expect just anyone to fulfill such a hard duty? But a warrior, they're prepared for those times. They prepare themselves for when the real work is to come. And when they know what that war is, what that purpose is that they can serve, that is when they truly find strength. A lot of people come to me and they say, Dan, how come you're always so firm and strong? And why is it that no matter what we ask of you, somehow you're not afraid to get it done, and you do get it done? Most people will call my mindset foolish, and that's fine. I'm living my own life. But I know my purpose is to make my world a better place, and I need to be as skilled and as strong and as intelligent and wise as I can be, so that when I'm called for anything, hopefully I can see it through. Some say it's a waste of time, and they rather the glory of some sort of success in one avenue. Fair enough. Do that if you have an idea of where you want to climb to. I know where I'm climbing to, and it's a lot of places, but it's far beyond the little hills that everyone is getting to. My hill is a little bit different, because it's not a hill or a mountain. It's everybody. My responsibility is to be mighty enough to understand all peoples, and to be there to guide them through all their struggles, no matter who it is, no matter what position, no matter what social rank, no matter if they're my enemy or not. Not that I have enemies. But civilization, the outside world beyond that, and everyone that I can come in contact with, my responsibility is to eventually make this life a better place for everyone, somehow, some way. So my devotion is a little more abstract, but I ask no one to take something like mine. Because my journey is a little bit different. My journey is not bound by time. It is not bound by the longevity of a man. My moves are different. The moves that I have to make have to work differently and not be withheld by time. And one of those things that I can do is bring knowledge and wisdom and light to everybody. But for everybody else can do something more instant and sudden, more immediate. That's the word. And so when they know what their cause is, what their purpose is, whether it's themselves, whether it's another person, whether it's their family, their loved ones, their children, whether it's their community, whether it's their establishment, their club, their business, their enterprise, their country, their world, their planet, their galaxy. When one can define what their purpose is, strength and might is much easier to achieve. Because there will be now a specificity to why they need to utilize this inner courage that they will find inside. Because that inner courage is you. It's not a part of you, it is you. It is one of the faces that you hold within. It just needs to know what its purpose is. Just like when we use our different voices, our different faces for different situations. Like with a man, he has to wear his father's uniform, or the uniform of a father, I should say. He must be strong. He must be the breadwinner. He must look after his loved ones. And he must always make sure his home is safe. But then that same man will have to wear the uniform of a child when he talks to his father, his mother, or his grandparents, or his elders, because he'll have that respect, and he'll know that those older than him will have so much to teach, as they've experienced so much in their lifetimes. And yet that same man, when he goes to whatever his duties are, he may be the boss, and he may have to talk with command, with foresight, with structure, with power. And yet, when he goes and talks to a doctor, he must wear the uniform of a patient, someone who seeks aid, someone who seeks treatment, someone who is vulnerable, not someone who is trying to win and lead. He gives authority to those he seeks help from. They're all different voices, uniforms, personas we all have within us. And a flavor that can be added to all of them, or a flavor that can be a persona of its own, is the warrior spirit. That in itself can be a persona of its own, or it could be the touch that each one of those personas needs. Because a warrior too is humble. A warrior too is respectful to his elders. A warrior too is a student. A warrior too is a child to be nurtured. And of course, we all know a warrior is strong enough to fight his own battles. And so when we know the specificity of why we wish to be strong, we need to be strong because it is our responsibility. That specificity makes acquiring might and strength much more easier. But we can add more detail to how specific we wish to look for that strength. And that is when we question, what is our role? We know generally our role is to stand for this cause, but what is it that one is to do when standing for this cause? Each person can fulfill a different role, all of them adding to the ultimate glory that this stance wishes to achieve. In an army, there are multiple ranks, positions, specialties, I should say specializations, and urgencies. each person, each personnel of the military has a specific role that adds to the whole system, because it is the system that they are part of. And that system itself is devoted to a cause. Whether these warriors devote themselves to that system, it being the military, whether they devote themselves to the nation, the body that military stands for, or whether these warriors stand for a cause different altogether, something beyond just their country and their peoples. There is a role to play to accomplish that achievement. And a person must look within at what role or what roles they can fulfill best. Because the sad thing about a lot of systems is there isn't always a position available that you can best fulfill. Is it your responsibility to show that you are capable or you are the most competent for that position? Is that your responsibility? Most of the time, yes. But not every system will accept you for that role. So your next responsibility is to see where else you can excel, where else you can use your abilities, and what other abilities you can efficiently grow so that you can fulfill that role, and in the end, fulfill your purpose. Because when you're a warrior, you're devoted, and it is your responsibility to make sure you take that stand, and to make sure that your stand is the one that triumphs. It's not always easy to find where one will fit. Here in the first world, the job market is a strange and cloudy place. It's so vague that a man will find it hard to see where he fits. Sometimes a warrior needs to pave his own path. Because once a warrior knows who he is, what he can do, what the outside world is around him, and how he best fits into that outside world, sometimes he can't rely on the systems around him. Sometimes a warrior needs to create his own opportunities and take a stand. That's one of the most valuable skills that a warrior can have. The power to create one's own opportunities. There's always another way. It's not going to be easy. It may be. It may not be comfortable. But the greatest power, or one of the greatest powers that every man has, is the power to create opportunities, no matter how big or small. He has the power to change his life. I'm signing out. That's all I have.